Hi guys, I thought I'd start this week's video off with Bitcoin dominance. We've had quite a bit of an alt run the last couple of days, so Bitcoin dominance does play a bit of a part in this. It's not always correlated 100%, but it does give a pretty good indication. So I'll just run you through the chart. We'll date all the way back to February 2017. So this is where the ICO boom really started. The altcoins started coming onto the market. So as you can see, all the money from Bitcoin started shifting to all these other altcoins that came onto the market. A lot of money was made, so money left Bitcoin, went into the alt market. And once we hit January 2018, this was the peak of the bull market. So from there, this is where the altcoins started dying off. Bitcoin did retrace heavily as well, but as you can see, the money flow just started going back into Bitcoin. So what we've got here is we've got a 0.618 fib pullback. We didn't quite touch it, close enough to. We've got horizontal resistance here, and also the top of this channel here with nice deceleration on the weekly. So I don't think that the altcoins are going to, well, they're not all dead yet. I believe a lot of altcoins still need to die. So what's happening here, I just think this is a short-term rally, but I do think it's probably going to go for a couple more weeks. So we're having a bit of a rest. As you can see here on the right, we've got a bit of a sea of red. After a strong run, it's just a pullback, but I think we're going to have a daily trend change in a lot of these altcoins. So this is it here. I think that Bitcoin dominance can fall down to mid 60s or even low 60s dominance, so that should feed money possibly into the altcoin market. There is a bit of an elephant in the room though. Bitcoin is getting tight into its triangle pattern, which we'll show soon, and also the backed futures release in a few days, so could shake up the market a little bit if Bitcoin pumps or dumps pretty hard. Usually the altcoins suffer, so for the altcoins to do well and thrive, we probably want a little bit of sideways action without sharp moves in Bitcoin. So that's the weekly chart. I'll just have a look at the 4-hour. Quite a big momentum change here. We've now got a lower low. Now, if we can get a lower high here, this will be a good trend change. We did already get a small lower high here, possibly head and shoulders. It's pretty ugly, but if we get a lower high up around the low 70s, touching these EMAs, we can head lower. So where would we target for our altcoins? There's a double top there. There's a peak there. Does that go back any further? Not really. Not much there. So I've got a bit of support here where we are. So this is where we're bouncing. We're bouncing on support for Bitcoin dominance, but we do have a trend change. So if this level breaks, we should see more upside for the altcoin market, possibly down to about mid 60s dominance. That'd be good for altcoins. Not really much to see on the daily. You can see the momentum on the daily up the top there, but I won't look at the 1 hour. So I'll quickly cover Bitcoin. It's a little bit boring, not much to cover, but we'll have a quick look anyway, because we usually do. Not much on the weekly. The daily, we'll have a quick look. Let's do it. Getting pretty tight. We haven't dropped back down to 9,400 level, so it's being held up. There's a minor level here at 10,000, 10,100. We'll have a look on the lower time frames, but this vertical line here is the futures launch. So around this area, quite often price action breaks out of a pattern about 75% of the way through. So we're around that area now. So any time between now and the end of next week, we possibly expect a breakout. The third scenario is we do nothing and just go sideways. That would definitely mean that altcoins are going to thrive. But just for now, not much to see there on the daily. 4 hour, not a great deal from the daily, but let's have a look at the 1 hour. We've just broken through it now as I started this video. But I drew in this line here. It's quite a lot of wicks and sideways momentum. Pretty choppy, pretty ugly. Tried to sell off a few times here, but bulls are holding up 10,000, 10,100 level. If we break this low here, that's when we start to sink, I believe. So it does look like there's a bit of bearish pressure there, but it is being held up. So this horizontal level, the more times support gets hit, the more likely it'll give way. So we're nearly at that point now. Actually, we could possibly be breaking through now. That's about it for Bitcoin. Nothing really I want to trade. Probably sneak in a quick day trade if we get a break and retest and hold below 10,100. Yeah, pretty risky trade because the higher time frames are pretty choppy. But let's get into the alts. Start with Ethereum. This one's really taken off. So it looks like a high low on the weekly, and we've pushed up here and we're rejecting the 20 EMA now. So Bitcoin dominance is having a bit of a rest, and Ethereum, which has led the way with the altcoins, a lot of altcoins are Ethereum based, so they're naturally going to follow Ethereum's moves. Just rejecting the 20 EMA here. So if we get a retest of about 190, 192 on the lower time frames, that could give us our pullback for the next leg up, and that will confirm our high low here for our weekly trend change. Daily, we'll have a quick look. So next target for Ethereum is probably around the 230 mark, horizontal support and resistance. But just for now, we've had a strong run, we need a breather. That's a high wick, high test candle there. Not rejecting resistance, but it is around the weekly 20 EMA there, so I expect a pullback. Mid 190s, possibly. Can we short it? We'll have a look at the lower time frames. Not too much there. 4 hour looks pretty good. So a golden cross on the 4 hour EMAs. Do some fibs. So yeah, if we get a 0.38 or a 0.5 pullback, that could be enough of a pullback to continue higher. So it's still a 20% move to the next horizontal level. That's quite good. That's what I'll be looking for. 1 hour, not too much. Could even hold support at $200. Nice round number. There's definitely a few bounces there. So that could be the end of the pullback. Definitely still bullish, so I'm caution of trading short on the pullback. 200 isn't even at a fib level, so it's not a very deep pullback after a strong run, but we'll see. Alright, so as you can see, we've got high time frame bullish action here. That weekly looks really strong. That's building momentum on the weekly. Just capped by the 20 EMA for now. Bitcoin Cash. Actually, let's flick over to this one. Right, so Bitcoin Cash in the daily. Break, retest of the channel, possibly a falling wedge, and up we went. So we've just fell short of pretty strong resistance here, and a high test rejection blow off candle there. So pullback on Bitcoin Cash at the moment. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. But as you can see, we've got nice accumulation phase here, higher low, break and retest of the EMAs, golden cross on the 4 hour, could be retesting the top of this wedge here. If we do that, we'll have another crack at this resistance here. If we break that, it's a strong run for Bitcoin Cash. So this is what I mean by trend change. The alt season I don't think is over yet. You can see that by the momentum of Bitcoin dominance dropping, and also the altcoins now setting higher lows on the 4 hour and daily time frame. So we're just having a breather for now. I'll be looking for more longs. I'm not looking to short any of the altcoins at all just for now. So we've still got plenty of opportunities ahead of us. Excuse me. Likewise with Litecoin, 4 hour golden cross just right now. Beautiful horizontal level there that we bounce, break, retest, and now we've broken above. So if we can pull all the way back to this horizontal level on Litecoin, that will be an excellent position to go long and target this next level up around here somewhere. Target that next previous low and this previous high here. So Litecoin's looking really good. It's a really nice trend change on Litecoin. EOS. Now EOS has a hard fork coming up, so I'm pretty excited about this. Price action looks pretty good. It's not a hard fork with a free shitcoin, it's just a network upgrade. But you can see here sideways accumulation. We had a quick sell-off capulation. We met our wick down there. That was our bottom. Probably should have seen that actually. I was looking at a different chart. So here's our Elliott wave count here. 1, 2, 3. Pulling back now for the fourth. Will we get a fifth wave? We'll see how we go. But this horizontal resistance zone should now act as support. So a pullback to 3800, 3700 will be a nice place to go long on EOS. And I believe the fork is late next week. So that'll give us up until here where my arrow is. That's a pretty good amount of time to have a crack at this next resistance level. So Litecoin EOS look good for longs. We just got to let this pullback play. Do we trade short on the pullback? Against the trend, it's tough because the pullback may not go as far as you believe it's going to go. Litecoin, Ripple. Same deal, we caught this one, caught at a beautiful entry. Broke down here, accumulation, trading within a zone, dropped down, capulation, then made a higher low. And this resistance here, quite strong, it's better on the 1 hour even. But once we broke that, we entered our long, and we closed our long here. That was a pretty good horizontal level, so we closed there. But it just broke through, bounced, break and retest, and continued higher. So yeah, it's a little bit tough, closing at horizontal levels. If I'm not trailing my stop is generally my strategy. Sometimes I keep going. I followed my trade plan. We got huge profit on that trade. That's how it goes sometimes. But let's look at the lower time frames. Oh, here's our trade here. I left the measuring tool on. So as you can see, this is the reason I closed the trade here. Just above that level actually. Because I've probably adjusted that there to that peak there. But the reason I closed the trade on the 1 hour is because this purple line is where we closed the trade. That candle there looked like a blow off top. High test candle closed at 4 hour resistance. So nice close, but we ended up just making a phase line or pennant if you like to call it, and we broke through. So a re-entry would have had to be in this rejection of the horizontal support and resistance. So break and retest, you would have had to enter on that candle there, which would have been a pretty good entry actually, and then it just exploded up again. So there's the blow off candle. That's what I thought this candle was, blow off rejection, end of the run. This time it was, and we've pulled back. So very, very good trade, well managed. We got nice high leverage on that one, so good profit. So pretty chuffed with that one. Well done to everyone that caught it. ADA, same thing. I actually missed ADA. I'm a little bit annoyed about this one. Just wasn't at the charts at the right time. Look at the 4 hour. Actually, we'll just quickly go through the daily, the weekly as well. So we've reversed at a point that's not at horizontal support and resistance, so it may have been a fib extension on the way down, but these couple of candles here probably held a clue. This is a hindsight thing. I didn't see this at the time. To me, it was no man's land. Possible pullback before heading lower. Could still do that, but we've got a couple of dojis there and bullish momentum on the weekly now. So this could just be a nice mid-term trend change. Pretty much a double bottom there. Broken this line here, higher low, and where we'll go, we'll just push past the daily 50 EMA now. So what are we looking for? Looking for a pullback now. Golden cross on the 4 hour. So let's have a look at some fibs. Fibs from the bottom. So yeah, maybe a 0.5 fib to reject the EMAs would be a nice place to go long. Just got to be aware of this peak as a resistance. So we should be able to target up here for the next run. That's a nice trend change. So Litecoin, EOS and ADA look pretty good to continue higher for another run. Just having a breather for now. The other case is this is just a false run and we drop back below. If we drop back below the horizontal support and resistance that we've broken previously, well, it's all over. Back to bear market, short-term bear market. But the higher time frames are looking better. Previous alt rallies haven't really given anything on the higher time frames. It's just been a bit of a dead cat bounce, but looking like we've got better trend changes this time around. Even King Shitcoin looks pretty good. This one here I had a resistance band, so I didn't pull the trigger on this one. Wish I did, but at the time I did the right thing because we had strong bullish momentum, but it paused right on this resistance level. And then we had a doji, so I suspected we were going to fall through, but the next candle we just blew straight out. So the trade was missed then. Not really missed trade. I had valid reasons for staying out of it, but if it did reject and come back down to this trend line, I'm like, well, I made the right decision. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Can't catch all the trains. But nice pullback here at resistance. So same deal, possible golden cross coming in. Start from the all-time low. Not all-time low, but previous low. So a fib pullback would meet up with the EMAs. Or it could just be that previous low. So about this zone here, about 165 sats, I'd like a pullback. A couple of nice low test wick rejection candles, so I know that the pullback is exhausted. We can have another crack at 180 sats or possibly higher. So nice trend change there, pullback before another run. That's it, guys. That's all the BitMEX pairs. I won't go through any altcoins at the moment because I want to go through all those before I do a video. Same deal, a lot of them are taken off, but some haven't. So they're the ones I'll be targeting that haven't actually made a trend change yet. If the altcoins do have another rally, that's where most of the money will be made. So hope you got a bit out of this video, guys. It's good to finally be able to put a video together that's actually got a higher time frame trend change. So now you can see what I talk about all the time about using higher time frames, analysis, multiple time frames, getting a clue of what's happening bigger picture. So when you do take a swing trade, you can trade on the higher time frames knowing that the trend is in your favor.